So if you're making a sphere, the first thing that you want to do is, well, you definitely want to compose your page. Um, I want to make sure that you have your sphere along with the entire cast shadow should be on the page. So I want you to do it from life with your light on, but I've done it enough times, so I'm going to make it up. So I'm pretending my light is over here. I'm going to do my sphere in this area. And this is vine charcoal. I'm just going to kind of block out my area. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to mark the center, take a ruler, and just measure around. And I'm going to do 3 inches because that's about right. Measure above and below, and then side to side, and then do a bunch more in a different direction, in different directions. Get the same measurement. Do at least like 12 or 16 points. And then now you have, a circle with a 3-inch radius. Just connect the dots around here. And it doesn't have to be perfect right now, but if you have this measured out, it'll be good enough. And now you want to draw your cast shadow. The cast shadow is part of this composition. Make sure that your sphere is placed and is small enough and to the side enough so that your cast shadow can appear on here. Now, if the light is coming a little bit from the front and from this side down this way, the cast shadow will be an ellipse that might be oriented in that direction a little bit. And then you'll have your background. So you'll have your background, which is black, and that'll come in. You can go straight through if you want to. You can do that with a ruler if you want to as well. This is all vine charcoal, so it just wipes off. But now I have my composition more or less planned out. Now, what I want you to do is what's called a lay-in. And you want to separate the stuff that's in shadow from the direct light. That'll be pretty much the basis of the entire rest of the semester, is me trying to get you to learn how to separate the shadow from the direct light. And you do that with hard and soft edges. If you have your pencil, let me get this one right here. It's more like the ones you guys have. If you have your pencil good and sharpened, well, first of all, you can solidify this line, make a nice, clean, smooth line. That edge gets locked in. You don't have to do it too dark. Now, in these classrooms, you will have all kinds of light bouncing around. Your lighting is not going to be perfect, but I want you to kind of pretend it is. And you will have the end of this cast shadow getting a little soft. So I'll just do a little soft edge right here. Now, when you're doing your shadow on the sphere, let me get some fine charcoal here. The light rays are going to come from your light and go directly. The light rays are coming this way, and your sphere gets in the way of them, and that's what makes a shadow. So if you look at a straight line from here to the edge of your cast shadow on both sides, that's where your core shadow is going to. Remember in the video we watched, he called it the Terminator. And so you want to do a soft edge with the side of your pencil, like this. And then, this is pretty much like the secret to the whole thing right here. You can do the center of light right here, just draw that in lightly. And it's pretty much a coloring book at this point. So the next thing you'll want to do, so this is what's called a lay-in. You have your light and your shadow laid in. Obviously, when we're doing more complicated objects, it's going to be more complicated. So the next thing is you want to take your vine charcoal. I have this big hunk of it, but you can also get your vine charcoal and just use the side of it to cover large areas like so. But I'm going to use this, and I'm going to just fill in all of the shadow areas. And since I put those edges in with the compressed pencil, this will be, that'll stick on there. So now we have our shadows separated from our light. We can just rub that in. And go ahead, don't worry about going across the shadow line in this, because you have your Terminator here. You know where your shadow shapes are, so this gives you your mid-tones. What you want to do is make this look as realistic as possible. And that means you don't want to have any lines on there. So what you do to make hard edges is you get your pencil and then smooth that in. And you might be saying correctly, well, now you just contradicted what you just said, because you made a line right there. But what you want to do is you want to rub that in so you keep that edge. Make it as clean as you can. And then you want to have your pencil really sharp and fade that line out. And fade it out toward the dark side. And smooth in the direction of the edge so you can keep that edge. So when you get over here and you have the sphere against the white background, you'll do the opposite. So this is the darker part. You will make your hard edge and then fade it out in the direction of the darker part. And you don't want to get it too dark because the sphere is white. And you can always pull it back a bit with your eraser. So it's just a matter of, and then you can make this edge on the outside with your eraser as well. And it's just a matter of, putting on more and then taking it away, creating hard and soft edges. So in your light areas, you want to have a smooth gradient. You want to make sure the entire light area is lighter than the entire shadow area. You can there'll be some occlusion down here at the bottom. You can even almost kind of lose this very bottom edge in the occlusion You can exaggerate the darkness of the shadows on this because it's white and there's a lot of bounced light coming from everywhere. Now you want to have a good gradient on the light side as well. This shouldn't all be just white, but it should be lighter than this. So if you want to pull it back a little bit, you can use some tissue. And I'm pretty sure there is some in the class there. And then, if you remember where your light rays are, you can make a highlight spot with your eraser. I have a little residual. Don't be afraid to just move the charcoal around with your finger. And then you want to have good edges, but you don't want to have lines. So over here where the sphere is close in value to the background, you can almost kind of lose this edge a little bit. It's a whole operation of making things darker and then pulling them back and then making things darker and pulling them back. And that is something that will really come in handy when we start painting, is the idea of creating something in different passes and different layers. You should find the spot on your image that is the lightest spot, and that'll be the only part that's totally white. So you don't want to have any other white on your page. My only white, at least in this area here, is going to be this highlight right here. So I'm going to apply a little tone all over the rest of the thing so that I don't have distracting other focal points. So keep blending, keep smoothing, keep pulling out your hard edges. If you have a little bump like this right here, you can just carefully smooth it out with your pencil and then blend in the direction of the edge like so. And try to eliminate lines as much as you can. That will be more rendered out. But I just wanted you to get the idea for creating hard edges, soft edges, and think about the idea of form shadows, cast shadows, occlusion, hard edges, soft edges, and highlights, and not there's not enough spheres for everybody, so make sure that there's a lot of objects around the room that you can use. There are cones and bottles, so if there's not enough spheres for everybody, use something round. Don't use just a box. But this is the basic idea right here. So put it on the same page as your value chart, and do the best you can. And I will hopefully see you guys on Monday.